Hey everybody, welcome to B&B's Football Happy Hour. We are back. Most of us are bearded. All of us are beautiful. I am Bobby with my man, as always, Brian.
What's going on?
And as you all can see, those of us who are checking out the video, we are joined by a third very handsome devil. And that fella is none other than the 2003 indoor world champion in the 400 meter, the former outdoor world champion in the 400, the 2001 fastest man in the world, and former San Diego, now LA Charger, Tyree Washington. Tyree, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm just happy to be on the show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate
Absolutely,
it.
my friend.
All right, man. I'm going to roll into the first question here.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, we've had a few former NFL guys on, man. We get a lot of feedback. Everybody loves hearing, everybody's story and everybody's journey to where they, in your case, got to be in a top level track guy. So give us a little bit about, the Tyree Washington story, a kid growing up in California to, becoming the world's fastest man.
Well, I grew up in Riverside, California. My mother, my grandmother raised me. I had two other siblings, and I grew up struggling with asthma, and it almost took my life many times. But I took a liking in sports and particularly football because I love football. Track and field was something that I always tell people I didn't want it to happen, but it happened, and I guess that was part of God's plan for me. But I started playing pop pointer football at a young age, and I was excelling. But when I got to high school, it was, the focus was all about football. But then, I ran track just to stay in shape. You ask any football guy out there, why they ran track, why they did track, and 99% of the time they're going to tell you that they just did it to stay in shape. But I was actually great in track and field. If you don't know about 400 meter times, I ran 46.3 in high school, and I trained, but it was just like I was chilling.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all about just I wanted to do as much as I can to be appealing to these college recruiters for football. And my senior year, we didn't do good overall, but as far as my overall season individually, I had a great season, and I was heavily recruited all over the country. And I ended up signing with the University of Oregon to play football. And I was going to come in as a true freshman, but unfortunately, they Prop 48 me. And then my girlfriend got pregnant. I didn't meet the academic requirements, so that pretty much was gone. And then I had a coach from I had a coach Blackman Ehem. He was a coach at San Bernardino Valley College, and he asked me if I would come over to his junior college to run track. And I told him, I laughed in his face and I said, I don't want to run track. My goal is to get back to a Division I school and go to the NFL. And he said, well, give me 1 year. And he said, I'll make you great. So football didn't work out. So I ended up going over to junior college, and I started training in the fall of 1996. 9 months later, I was the second fastest 400 meter run in the world. I ran 44.52. I broke the national record. Went to nationals. I was runner-up, and then I ended up beating the great Michael Johnson in Paris, France, 1997. So, my story is there's so much to it, and that's why I wrote my book. And we'll talk about that later on. But it's just there was so many highs and lows in my personal life, my athletic career, but I just kept pushing forward, and I was always more passionate about playing football than running track. I got all these gold medals, I got all these pictures and stuff of my office here, but people always ask me, did you love it? Yeah, I did love it, but if I had a choice to be in the NFL for over a decade, I would have made that choice to be over in the NFL for over a decade rather than winning these world titles, because that's how much I love football.
That is very interesting. And just for our listeners, just to put it in perspective, him running a 46 in the 400 in high school. So I'm a former head track and field coach, and I had a gentleman run a 49 and was third in the state. So, you take 3 seconds off that. That's unbelievable. You can't take a full second, even 1 full second off your 400 time.
Right.
3 full seconds. That is unreal. I know the guy who won states that year ran like a 48.9 something.
Wow.
That is 46.
Well,
was incredible.
Everybody has to think about it too. As a track coach, you're sprinting over 4 football fields.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I mean, it's just crazy when you line them up, and just to even fathom and just to visualize that. I mean, I got to sprint over 4 football fields, and in my mind, like in my goals, in 47 seconds. I mean, I mean, my PB is 44.2, so it's just unbelievable. But once you get in that physical shape, and that you have the mental shape more importantly than anything, it's just it's almost like you know, for me, it was like running 200 meters, 250 meters, because I was in great shape. It didn't really seem like a 400 meters.
Yeah, because that 400 is not a fun race. I mean, you are feeling pain that you didn't even know you could feel running that thing.
That's right.
Now you touched on this, Tyree, and this is sort of like maybe a 3-part question here. But so in 1997, you said you were ranked number 2 in the world. You were only 20 years old at the time. So
Yeah.
first part of the question is how were you able to, I mean, balance that? I mean, mentally knowing that you're walking around, I mean, you're only 20 and you were the number 2 ranked man on the planet. I mean, that has got to be difficult to deal with, and, keeping your, not getting too ahead of yourself, and, trying to keep level headed. And then, you did sign on with the Chargers for a little bit. So you went to football, but then you switched back to track. So why the going back and forth there?
Well, I think like the answer to your first question is, I I always thought back to I always look back to my background, where I came from, and I come from a very, very tough background, and I've seen a lot of people pass away, and there's like I faced death, and I felt like, well, I'm in front of 100,000 people, so what? I'm in front of Michael Johnson. I mean, he's one of the greatest 400-meter runners ever. I mean, so what? He's a human being. I respect him, but mentally I was prepared for that, because I knew that I was already grounded from my past and from my background to be able to handle being in a hostile environment with 100,000, 80,000, 100,000 people, going against the best 400 meters run in the world. But also too, my coach Blackman Ehem, phenomenal coach. I mean, amazing. He told me day one, and I speak about this a lot because everybody always wants to know, like, well, how did you become so successful and go from junior college straight to the professional level, and you're dethroning some of the greatest quarter milers ever. And my coach told me, he said you're a professional athlete in college. He said, you're going to think like one. He said, you're going to train like one. You're going to dress like one. You're going to do everything like a professional athlete. He says, when you face Michael Johnson, Butch Reynolds, and all these greats, he says, you're not going to waver. He says, you're going to stand firm. You're going to stand tall, because you've already been through that rough patch. It's not going to be a culture shock for you. And sure enough, like I said, when fall of 1996, after, the 9 months later, I'm like 10 months, I say 10 months later, I'm in front of the best quarter milers in the world. And I was like, I'm the best in the world. That's what he put in my head. And it wasn't so much like, a lot of times people take it the wrong way. They say, oh, this guy's being cocky. No, it's not being cocky. It's just that my coach embedded that in me. I believed in him. I believed in myself, most importantly. And I knew I was the best 400-meter runner in the world. But in the answer to your second question about the transition going from track to football, I always loved football. I mean, anybody that knows me, that from my time at junior college, or the time that I was in high school, and I was getting recruited all over the country to play football, is that, I mean, I would drop track in a heartbeat to go play football. I mean, and for me, when I was with the San Diego Chargers, it was a great opportunity. I mean, it was a great opportunity. And after I got released, I got picked back up. I got picked back up to talk, play with the Raiders, and I talk about that a lot in my book as well. And so I put it this way: I had the opportunity to continue on playing the NFL, but I put other things before it, because it was more important for me at that point in time. That's what I did, and because I'm big on family, and I gave that up. But I look at it, a lot of times people say, well, they look at you. Well, I didn't play years in the NFL, but I'm like, I was on the field. I mean, I was playing with Jim Harbaugh, Nate Trimeans, the late Junior Seau. I mean, Rodney Harrison, all these guys. I mean, and I loved it. I mean, as I was on the field, I'm looking across like the field. We're playing San Francisco, and Jerry Rice is catching passes. I'm catching the pass, and we're meeting in the middle of the field. And I'm just like, I don't want to show, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, there goes Jerry Rice. I mean, but if I have to hit him, I got to hit him. I mean, but it was as a as it was like a dream. It was a true.
It sounds like you had your priorities in line, though.
So
Nice. So you touched on it a little bit. In 2001, you became the world's.
yeah, I mean, it was.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. You're good.
Yeah, I mean, in 2001, you were labeled the world's fastest man. Now, starting out in track, was that a goal that you had, or was that just kind of a culmination of all the hard work that you put in your coaching, or was that something that you wanted to achieve in your track career?
Yeah, that's something I wanted to achieve. That was a goal of mine. That was always. I mean, every year that I was getting ready for a new season, a new track and field season, the goal was to be the best in the world. The goal was to be the fastest man in the world. If they had outdoor nationals, it was to win nationals, to win worlds, to win Olympics, and everything we did prior to that, as far as like our base season, just to get ready for my 2003 2001 season. I mean, it was the talk from my coach and the reinforcement he always put in my head was, hey, you're the best 400 meter run in the world. You're gonna have the fastest times in the world. Not just run it once, but you're gonna run it over and over again. And so I think it's like baking a cake. It's like if you want a cake, you gotta have all the ingredients. But if you don't put all the ingredients in, you won't get the cake. And so I had the right ingredients in place to be able to become the fastest man in the world, and that's what I became.
Man, I got to tell you, I'm over here taking notes on your coach. So when I get back out there on the track, I'm sure I'll be coaching again here for too long once my son gets a little older. But man, I love that.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I think that, I mean, it's, if 90% of your focus is negative and it's only 10% is positive, I mean, you're going to get that negativity. If it's 90% of it is going to be, you want to be successful, and 10% you're just like kind of, you're waving in the wind, kind of like, I don't know, then that's what you're going to get. But everything that my coach ever taught me, and I've had like him, the great Jim Bush, the Hall of Famer at UCLA, USC. They've always taught me that you have to think positive, and and whatever you want to do in life, that's you need to act that way, like right now. And it's like the great Jack Canfield. I mean, he mentored me for a while, and I was able to work with him for a little bit. And he always talked about this term, like act as if. So if you want to be a professional athlete, act as if you're a professional athlete now. If you want to be an entrepreneur, act as if you're an entrepreneur now. And so when I was at junior college, I wanted to be a professional athlete. I wanted to be the best in the world. I wanted to win that gold medal. I wanted to be Michael Johnson, and most of that happened. And so I'm always grateful for that. And I try to just pass that on to each and every athlete or each and every individual I come in contact with, because I honestly just take advantage of my talent, man. I mean, a lot of times people say, oh, I've done some phenomenal things. I'm like, yeah, that's nice. But God gives everybody a talent. And he gave me many talents, and I just exploited them, and I just took advantage of them. And so like when I leave this earth, I mean, I know like, hey, I didn't leave nothing behind. I gave it all up.
That's what it's all about, man. That's good stuff. So now you mentioned a couple of these already. You've overcome many obstacles in your life. You had said the asthma, growing up in a single parent home. I know you lived with some foster parents for a little bit, a teammate of yours, whenever I believe you were in high school. The teammate of yours on your relay team was accused of doping. So you had a world record that got stripped away. You've had plenty of chances to quit, plenty of chances to get down. And, you just talked about that's not an option for you. And I know that your football coach in high school, he had a great influence on you growing up as well. So for all of our coaches and athletes, and really everyone in general, I mean, you gave a message, the as if and everything. And like, you can even start talking about your book if you want to. What is your message for like today's youth and the young people that are facing adversity every single day?
Well, I tell everybody that life is not fair. Life is going to slap all of us in the mouth, and it's going to knock us down. And we have to be able to get back up, and we have to continue to keep taking those steps. Life hit me in so many different ways. And there was times I felt like I wasn't going to get back. There were times I was going to lose my life. But I got back up, put my hands on my knees. I stood tall, and I just took those baby steps. And those baby steps were turning into bigger steps to be able to get to your goal, to your destination. One of my coaches, Black and Eham, he gave me this quote many years ago, and he said, "Destiny delayed, not denied." And what that means is that we all have a destiny. We all have a point where we're going to reach in life, but there's going to be so many things we're going to encounter in our life that's going to slow us up from trying to get to our destiny, but it's never going to stop us from getting to our destiny. So I tell people just to continue to keep pushing forward, keep trying. You never fail when you're trying. I mean, you fail when you don't try. And that's one thing about me that it entails in my book. It don't really matter. I don't care what color you come from. I don't care what's your color, your race. I don't care your job, how much money. I mean, we're all dealing with some type of issues that we're trying to overcome. And we have to have a positive mindset. We have to think ourselves positive people, and we have to be optimistic and we have to be hopeful. And the good thing is too about all the stuff that we're going through in life is that all the stuff that I've gone through and maybe you've gone through, and is that it's not nothing new. It's not like some phenomenon. Somebody else has gone through it. And we have to look at those people. They're making movies about those people. You go to Netflix, you go to Hulu, you can read books. I mean, there's ebooks. There's so many great people that have inspirational stories out there. We have to look at those. We have to look at those, look at those individuals and take from them how they overcame the things they've gone through in their life. And so I just want people to do the same thing with me, is that I want them to look at my life and say, hey, this little knucklehead boy from Riverside, California, so scrawny boy, came from a tough area, single, his mother and grandmother raised him, but he kept pushing forward to get everything that he wanted in life. And like I said, and just keep grinding, don't ever give up. And my book, Against All Odds, I mean, the title says it all. And there was so many things I had to fight, so many different obstacles, so many different challenges, so many situations, but I just kept stepping, brother, and to get what I want. I'm not a quitter. I mean, I may not be the best at whatever I'm doing, but I just keep fighting. And my calling in life, and I know that a lot of people are trying to figure out their passion, is that my passion is to help people. I want to help people to get better. And I don't care who you are. I mean, I'll give the shirt off my back to you if I can help you. And that's something I learned from I saw from the late Junior Seau. Junior Seau was the type of individual that he could play on Sunday, but then he could be in your living room, had a full-on conversation with you as if he knew you for like 20 years. And if your car broke down on the side of the highway, he would pull over and try to change the tire, or he would call somebody to get your tire changed. And I think that's the type of people that we should want to surround ourselves. We should want to surround ourselves around, not the negative Nancys or the negative Narons or anything like that, because we have so much of that crap going on in the world, so much of that stuff going on now, and we only have one life. And it's like we don't make the right choices. It's not Fortnite, right? There's no do-overs, there's no returns. That's it. I mean, my wife's a sergeant in the Army, getting ready to become an officer, and so it's like if they go to war and they're in battle, it's like if they make a wrong mistake, that's it. It's over with. So we have to be very delicate with the decisions we make, and our tongue is very powerful because it can lift people up. It also can tear people down. And so we have to really think before we act. And everything I tell, everything I'm saying to you, I have to tell myself that, because there's times that I say something, I'm like, Ty, you gotta backtrack, you hold yourself accountable, and you gotta apologize, man. And because I want to lift people up, man, as much as I can.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, you got me lifted up with all this motivational speaking, my friend.
I know, right, man?
I'm ready to conquer the world.
Let's conquer it.
Your book just came out, I think, pretty recently, right? So I definitely want to grab a copy. So where can I do that at? Where can you grab your book from?
Yeah. So you can go on my website at www.tyreeswashington.com. Make sure you put the S in there, because they got all these little Tyree Washingtons floating out here now, man. And so I had to put that, make sure that S is in there, right? And and then you go there, you go on Amazon, it's on Barnes and Noble. So there's many different platforms you can get my book, and I just ask everybody, when you purchase my book and you read it, make sure you write a review, and just be honest about it, and what you were able to take away from it, and I hope it will just help each and every individual.
Got it.
Nice, man. I'm definitely gonna check it out for sure.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
We'll put your website. We'll link it to our video on Facebook and on YouTube and all that stuff. We'll make sure we have that link there for you.
Definitely. I appreciate that, man. And so what do you guys think about the season, NFL season?
Ooh, I think it was
a wild week one.
Yeah, I think, like we were talking about it before you came on. I mean, I think a lot of the good teams looked really good, and there was really no middle ground, like some teams look really bad, and I don't know, the Chiefs and all those teams that are, supposed to be good looked really good, and a lot of injuries. That's kind of what I took away. I mean, just a ton of injuries, I think. So. And
that's what's going to happen. Like the players, their bodies, they're not in condition. You don't have preseason. You have almost no padded practices now. And if your body's not used to taking a hit, it's not going to work out for you. Yeah,
I don't know if you guys kind of observe this, but what I've been seeing throughout the years is that a lot of players are not staying. They're not staying long in the league anymore, and like they were in the past. And a lot of them, obviously, the concussion. I mean, that's an issue, and obviously this whole COVID hit, and it's kind of threw a monkey wrench and everything. Is that players are getting hit. I mean, they're getting hurt left and right because they're not really. I mean, they're not really in shape, and like you said, they're not really used to taking hits. But there was more. To me, I look back at the '80s, and it was more loyalty. Like players were sticking around, and
Yes.
and it wasn't so much about like playing hopscotch or like everybody. Players getting shuffled like a deck of cards. Like they're loyal, and that's kind of gone out the window. I mean, and I get the other side of it where it's kind of. I mean, they want to get the money because they're one hit away or one sickness away, whatever, from the career being over with. But at the same time, I really kind of respect those players that have just stayed with one team throughout their entire career. I mean, and so,
Oh yeah. And like even with like the injuries and things, we have so many players that, like you mentioned, they're not staying long. They're not staying long. They're retiring early. Luke Kuechly, he could end up being one of the greatest linebackers of all time, and he retires after his
I like him.
Me too.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like,
Yes.
And Carson Wentz last year took himself out of a playoff game. I mean, look, if you're hurt, you're hurt.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I mean, listen, I played college football at a real small college, nobody ever heard of. But there were times when people had to hold me up in the huddle because I didn't have my legs underneath me.
Right.
And I'm not taking myself out of the game.
Yeah.
It's a playoff game in the NFL. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Right.
Man, that's tough.
Well, yeah, I get. I don't know. I think it's just that. I think they start thinking about like their longevity. I think they start thinking about maybe their kids. They want to be around to be healthy and play with their kids and not have any more health issues than they already have. And so I guess it's preservation, right? I mean, maybe it's preservation, but when you're passionate about something, I mean, to me, you just give it all. I mean, I've had so many injuries, been banged up and knocked out and in and out of the hospital. And people would ask me, hey, would you do it all over again? And I'm like, yeah, I sure would. I mean, other than I didn't like seeing my mother cry at my bedside in the hospital. I didn't like that. But other than that, though, I mean, I would do it over and over again. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
All right, Tyree. Hey, man, we appreciate you very much coming on here. You've been wonderful, very motivating. I could listen to you talk all day, my friend.
I appreciate you guys, man. I'm thankful that you guys give me the opportunity to come on your platform to be able to share my story with everybody. And just all about peace, love, and happiness, brother. Peace, love, and happiness.
I got you. I got one quick one before we roll, real quick. Since you're a track guy and you love NFL, man, so give me your top 3 fastest guys in the NFL that you like to watch.
Oh, man. Well, I'm definitely gonna say Tyree Hill.
All right,
he's one of them.
Yeah, if you had to put him on your relay team here, if you're building the all NFL relay team with 3 other guys and Tyree, who you gonna pick? So Tyree Hill.
Oh my God.
Ooh, I like this.
Dang, see me, Tyree. Dang,
this one just came to me. I had to ask you before you hop off.
Oh my God.
Tyree's got to be the lead leg. He's going to be good out of the blocks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick up Julio.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick Julio Jones.
He's got that.
I'm gonna get.
that long stride.
I'm gonna get Julio.
All right.
He got a long stride. I don't. The fourth one. That's a tough one, man. Because I'm thinking about so many of them. I mean, and because it's like legs. I'm sticking Tyreek on the anchor. I'm not going to running. I'm gonna run. I'm going second leg. So I'm gonna hand off to Tyreek. I'm gonna put Julio. I'm gonna put Julio on the start.
Okay.
I'm gonna get Julio on the start.
Nice. DK
so Metcalf, Julio.
DK Metcalf might be all right out there.
I forgot about him. That's my other guy. That sucker's a burner. He
looks
like a Maserati. He looks like a Maserati.
Oh yeah.
I'm saying he definitely
He's
get
a Maserati.
he definitely get in some people's heads if he walked out there with his shirt off or something like that. I mean, you guys be winning before it even started.
Hey, I'm gonna ask you guys this real quick because I know you guys got to go. Who do you think is the hardest hitting player in the league?
Oh, hardest hitting player. Dang. Hardest hitting player. Let's see.
I mean, Malcolm Jenkins can lay the wood.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's the hardest hitter out there.
Yeah. That hit in the Super Bowl, yeah.
He crushed Cooks in that Super Bowl.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Hardest
crushed
hitting.
him. Yeah, he laid him out like like a doormat.
I think he's still sleeping. Shoot, hardest hit.
It's tough because nobody's allowed to hit hard anymore.
Yes, I'm saying, I don't know. I mean, it used to be like,
I mean, Rodney Harrison.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, bad.
yeah, guys like that. I
Yeah,
don't know, man.
yeah, I'll let Rodney.
Vontez Burfict can lay the wood, but I mean, he'll take your head off with it along with it, though. But I mean, if he's playing back like 10 years ago, he's probably all good, though. I mean, he'd still be. Yeah. I don't know, man.
I agree. I'm gonna go with Vontez because Vontez is
he scares
type,
people,
man. But
he's nuts. He's nuts.
He's nuts. He is.
But I mean, for saying like, if he played back in like when you were playing like in the early '90s, like those guys were allowed to hit like that. I mean, he would have been. I mean, he could have been one of the better linebackers in the league. I mean, if they would let him do that stuff. But nowadays, it's just,
it was open season.
Yeah. Nowadays, I mean, it's frowned upon. But I mean, back then they used to. I mean, that was glorified back in those days. Those big hits like that and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, he's just he was a little bit past his time, I guess. But
no, I agree 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
This is great.
I appreciate you guys, man.
Yeah, man,
it's great.
We appreciate you coming on, and maybe we can get you back on in a couple months or something like that. Talk some more football.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll talk football all day. And I want to throw this out here too. I just partnered with this company called Paragon.
Okay.
Paragon out in Canada. They provided my nutrition 20 years ago, helped me become the fastest man in the world. And what Paragon Vitamins does, what they do is that they provide vitamins specifically for your DNA. So they do a hair sample test, analyze it, and they ship vitamins according to that. Send you a full 20-page report of everything that you've been eating and they get rid of all your deficiencies in your body. It's just amazing, especially with this whole COVID. A lot of people are going to the vitamin shop, wherever it may be, and they're picking up vitamins. But the thing is, you don't know if you're getting the right amount of vitamin A, B, C, or D. So with Paragons, they take away all of that. And so they send you vitamins specifically for your DNA. And if you put my code in Tyree 15, you get a 15% discount, which is like $89, I believe, or somewhere around there. And you don't have to go buy the vitamins. They ship them right to your doorstep, just like I was saying. And it's amazing. So I just encourage everybody to take advantage of Paragon Vitamins. And you go to www.paragonvitamins.com, and it'll just change your whole life completely.
Awesome.
It's awesome.
That's awesome. All right, man. I'm definitely gonna pick up your book, so I'll get back with you soon after I finish it and let you know my rundown on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be great. But
Write that review.
I'll give you the review. I'll probably get it on Amazon, so I'll give you a review on there.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on. Have a
No
good
problem.
night.
Take care. You too.
All right. Another great interview. Great guy. I mean, for sure. Motivational guy. And
so much energy. Very lively.
Yeah, man. He was good.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So, and I know we got another great guest in the works coming as well.
Next week.
Oh, yeah.
Next week, former two-time All-Pro, two-time Pro Bowler. I forget he played for the Eagles and the Eagles Cardinals. It was it Bears, Jags, and Bengals. Yeah. So Clyde Simmons, former 15-year NFL player who is now a defensive line coach at Western Carolina.
He'll be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's going to hop on with us. Still has 121 and a half career sacks, top 20, I think, still all time. So he's going to join us next Monday night. So I guess by the time you all be listening to it, it'll be Tuesday. But he agreed to come on with us, and I'm sure he'll be another great guest and talk some football and a little bit about his coaching journey, I think, that he's picked up the last 10 years. So, yeah, good stuff. Good bonus footage. Yeah, good
big
coverage.
Yep. Another big shout out to Tyree Washington coming on here.
Yeah.
Awesome guest.
Yeah, I know he we invited him to the group, and I know he posted about his book, but we'll make sure we'll kind of repost that. I know after some people listen to the interview, I'm sure they'll probably want to grab his book. So we'll make sure that's kind of repost that and have that kind of at the top of our page. And maybe we'll throw the link in there as well, I think, to his Amazon or whatever, so you can buy that. I mean, Amazon Prime, it'll take, 2 days, will be right at your doorstep. So, yeah, I'm sure some people want to buy it. I'm sure I'm definitely going to buy it and read it in some of my spare time. So, yeah, I look forward to that. And Yeah, another great guest.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess the end of this one, and we'll get on to our normally program here, and be back with you guys soon.
All right, man.